There are some college essays that are good. There are some that are great. And then there are some that win first place in the Scholastic Writing Awards without even trying. The essay that we're going to be going over today is, in my eyes, non-negotiable. I don't care if you have piano class in 10 minutes, okay? Für Elise and Beethoven can wait. I like to think that you can take away something from every college essay you read, but you can definitely learn more from some essays than others. And this is one of them ones. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I have the essay pulled up. Wow, okay, I did not need to be jump scared by your toes. I swear to God, this is not my blog. That banner needs to get up out of here real quick. The essay is written by Hugh Gallagher. You might know who that is. This is when he was 17. 3A essay. In order for the admission staff of our college to get to know you, the applicant, better, we ask that you answer the following question. Are there any significant experiences you have had or accomplishments you have realized that have helped to define you as a person? Let's get started. I am a dynamic figure, often seen scaling walls and crushing ice. I've been known to remodel train stations on my lunch breaks, making them more efficient in the area of heat retention. I translate ethnic slurs for Cuban refugees. I write award-winning operas. I manage time efficiently. Occasionally, I tread water for 3 days in a row. I woo women with my sensuous and godlike trombone playing. I can pilot bicycles up several inclines with unflagging speed, and I cook 30-minute brownies in 20 minutes. I am an expert in stucco, a veteran in love, and an outlaw in Peru. Using only a hoe and a large glass of water, I once single-handedly defended a small village in the Amazon basin from a horde of ferocious army ants. I play bluegrass cello. I was scouted by the Mets. I am the subject of numerous documentaries. When I'm bored, I build large suspension bridges in my yard. I enjoy urban hang gliding. On Wednesdays after school, I repair electrical appliances free of charge. I am an abstract artist, a concrete analyst, and a ruthless bookie. Critics worldwide swoon over my original line of corduroy evening wear. I don't perspire. I'm a private citizen, yet I receive fan mail. I have been caller number 9 and have won the weekend passes. Last summer, I toured New Jersey with a traveling centrifugal force demonstration. I think just making it across New Jersey in one piece is an achievement in itself. I bat 400. My deft floral arrangements have earned me fame in international botany circles. Children trust me. I can hurl tennis rackets at small moving objects with deadly accuracy. I once read Paradise Lost, Moby Dick, and David Copperfield in one day and still had time to refurbish an entire dining room that evening. I know the exact location of every food item in the supermarket. I've performed several covert operations for the CIA. I sleep once a week. When I do sleep, I sleep in a chair. While on vacation in Canada, I successfully negotiated with a group of terrorists who had seized a small bakery. The laws of physics do not apply to me. Years ago, I discovered the meaning of life, but forgot to write it down. I have made extraordinary 4-course meals using only a mouly and a toaster oven. I breed prize-winning clams. I have won bullfights in San Juan, cliff diving competitions in Sri Lanka, and spelling bees at the Kremlin. I have played Hamlet. I have performed open heart surgery, and I have spoken with Elvis. But I have not yet gone to college. Let's take a step back here before we even look at any of the specifics of this college essay. Whether or not you liked it, whether or not you laughed at any of the jokes, or you thought it was even appropriate to use as a college essay, I think we can all agree that it is fundamentally incredibly clever. This is a one-of-a-kind essay. You might see similar essays like it online, but it will never read the same as this original blueprint for what it means to be clever or funny in a college essay. If you had to guess when the essay was written, what would you say? Would you say 2020? 2015. My personal guess, reading this for the first time, I thought this felt like an early 2000s, 2010s type of essay. I looked it up. This was originally drafted in 1989. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that like ChatGPT is not putting together something like this. But still, I was surprised by how timeless the writing was. Now, to be very honest, after we've both gone through this essay, I personally don't feel that this is one of those essays that you should try to base your own writing off of. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some essays that you can take inspiration from in the themes that they use, or the general story and structure and plotline. You can try to incorporate into your own work. See if you can spin off something that happened in your life to something similar and grow from there. This is not an essay format I'd recommend imitating for a very practical reason. At the end of the day, while in this instance, we're looking at it from the lens of it being a good college essay because we know that it worked. What happens if the essay was done wrong, or the admissions officer had already seen something like this before and then they read your piece? What it's showing to the reader is like the level of creativity that you have, right? The ingenuity that it takes to put together something like this. But it doesn't actually say anything about like you, right? Or give any insight into like, I don't know, an extracurricular that you've done, or a personal experience that you had, or like a mentality that you bring to the table. Or to put that into other words, any theme that you'd normally see in a college essay. The entire appeal here is based on that creativity, that humor, that novelty that's being laid out. Naturally, this makes it high risk, high reward. If the admissions officer reads it and they love it, you're in, right? That's your one-way ticket in. Maybe you have a lower GPA, maybe you have lower test scores, not great extracurriculars. This could genuinely be the make or break factor. But if it doesn't come out like that perfect 10 out of 10 piece, the likelihood that it actually harms you more than it hurts you, or it feels corny or tacky or repetitive, that could set your application back. It could actually harm you. I remember finding this essay when I was in high school. I read it online, and the thing is, the biggest appeal of this entire story, this entire concept, is the way that the humor is structured. Since the sentence structure and format is like generally pretty repetitive, we can go here and pick any paragraph out of the essay. Let's just pick the third one, right? I like this third paragraph here. Each sentence in this paragraph is another joke, another piece of humor, another clever writing timing that makes you feel some type of way about the text. What this essay shows to me as like the biggest number one takeaway, if you were gonna end the video right here, it's how many ways you can incorporate humor into your writing. This guy managed to make almost every sentence in the entire essay a joke. When you're writing your own essays, that's obviously not the expectation. But every once in a while, in the middle of a paragraph, if you break the flow or switch it up by adding in a clever joke or something funny, the same way that this guy has, taking inspiration from what he's done, I think it could add a ton of value to the table. It's the relatability that I like so much. You can read through this essay, and even though it was written like 30 plus years ago, I still think that the average person would be able to understand almost 80 to 90% of every like joke or reference made here. Nothing is so like bizarre or outlandish that it just doesn't land, or at the same time it feels boring and overused. On the flip side, you could make the argument that like everything in this essay is made up, aside from the fact that like traveling across New Jersey is genuinely an achievement. But in this context, I can't tell you on camera that that actually matters. The humor that's incorporated, regardless of whether or not it's true or it really happened, setting all that aside, it makes the essay so much more engaging. Even reading it out loud on camera, I felt like the time went by like that because I actually enjoyed it. I always like to bring it back to the analogy of imagining that you're the last person that an admissions officer is reading after a day of just grueling work. They've read 30 boring sob story essays and they finally get to yours. If you start off yours with something clever, with something funny, something a little bit lighthearted or different or creative, or anything that even takes 1% inspiration from this essay, imagine what'll happen when your AL actually reads your essay instead of just tossing it out. Could literally be the difference between getting in and getting rejected. And look, no one said being funny in a college essay is gonna be easy, okay? Neither of us are comedians here. Asking us to just write jokes onto paper, coming up with them out of thin air, is not something that's just gonna happen overnight or if you just have a 30-minute writing session. Coming up with a clever idea is like putting together all the dots in your head. You're literally connecting the dots. But if you don't have those dots, those individual points that you get from reading and learning about a topic, there's no way that you're gonna be able to stitch them together and come up with something new, something original. Now, as you're doing that reading, part of it is to get a better understanding of what you're talking about so that you can be like funny and clever. The other part of it is to literally just look for funny things in the writing. If you see someone make a joke about it, or you know like an overused trope, like for example, I'm literally just spitballing here, but like you know, how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? Like you've probably heard jokes like that. All of these are things that you should document in like a Google Docs file where you're working. And then to take it one level further, you can go onto websites like Reddit, you can go onto Quora, you can go into any sort of forum where people are like asking questions about, hey, how do I install this light bulb? Or like, how do I know which light bulb is the best to buy? Average people on the internet have some of the funniest things to say. And so when you go through like these serious forums, people will always leave like the funniest comments on there. Read what they have to say. And if it makes you laugh, it appeals to your sense of humor, write that down. Humor is one of those things where you could go your entire college essay without using it, submit it, and no one's gonna like penalize you for it. But if you mindfully, actionably take the time to come up with a way to incorporate it, take the time to try to at least generate some ideas, you'll thank yourself in the long run. I see it as one of the true ways to distinguish yourself from the rest of the pack. So many people love to leave like comments on like these types of videos, or even just ask me like through DM or on my website, Pratik, I didn't have anything crazy happen to me as a child. I don't have any like sob story or intense, insane experience that I could write about. My response to that will always be,
Okay.
after everything we've just talked about, do you think it's fair for my response to that to just ask you simply, do you have a sense of humor? Look, bro, I'm not stopping you from donating a building. Just take out a little loan or something. If you want me to personally review your college essays, application, ideas, go ahead and check out my website in the description. 2-day turnaround, you know I got you. Let me know your thoughts on this essay in the comments. This has been your boy Pratik. Peace.